Hey guys, this is Jaheim here speaking. It's kind of funny. This is the exact same thing that's happened twice now. I try and make a video, the same topic of it comes out literally the day after, or something happens like that, right? So this was made before the trailer came out on the first of June. Sorry. Um, this whole video is just basically going to sound like my wish list and stuff like that of what I want to see in the game. So I just basically cut out the intro to just slap this one in there, and I'm going to keep this plain and simple with you. Let's just get into this, man. Here you go. But with that being said, let me just get into my thoughts and my wishes for what I'd like to see in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'd like to see customization. Character customization, in fact. Yeah, shock, isn't it? Right? Yeah, like X and Y was the first ever Pokemon to include character customization. And ever since then, it's been a staple in the Pokemon games, to the point that you can customize your own character to make them look the way you want, which is a nice thing to have. I wish they did it earlier, but with limitations of hardware, it's understandable as to why they didn't. The reason I mostly want it in this game, though, is because the main character looks like a fucking nerd. Like, who wears shorts with knee-high socks? And like, he has a button-up shirt and a tie, zero drip. You can't pull any bitches with that, bruv. I don't want to be maidenless, bruv. I don't want to play as a character who can't pull bitches, bruv. Like, that's just dismal, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. I want like a vast array of character customization. Typical, your hair, your eyes, your eyebrows, your shoes, maybe earrings, bracelets, necklaces, whatever. I just want like character customization. I don't want to look like that default character. To me, they look the worst designed wise. Like, some people were praising on the internet, and like that by some people I mean like two people, and those two people share the same brain cell. That character looks like shit, absolute whack. And if they did add character customization, I'm gonna be extremely disappointed. Like, I wouldn't want to play the game if I can't customize my character. Mostly said by most players as well is that like the female characters in Pokemon games have more customization than boys, and like, like more hairstyles, more colors and stuff, and like more outfits and stuff. And I'm like, it's okay, but like I don't mind. Like, I don't understand how that's a problem to most people, but I can see how it is. To me, it just doesn't bother me. At the end of the day, as long as I'm able to customize that character and not look like an absolute fucking neek, I'm perfectly fine with how the character customization would be in the game. I'll be honest. I don't want any lazy things that like lazy game development. I don't want like the characters just to go in water and just drown like 2 seconds afterwards, like an Arceus. I would like for us to be able to like swim in water and like, you know what I mean, like actually like swim in the water, go around here and there, and not be restricted and like cut off by areas because there's just water in front of you. It's like, yeah, maybe if it's like, maybe they can cut it into like shallow and like deep ends of water. So like in the deep ends of water, you can't really swim through there. If you do, it would do, as I said, like how it was in Arceus, where you would just drown or whatever, right? But like in the shallow ends, you should be able to actually swim. And like, I would like that, to see that, because as I said, this is an open world Pokemon game. Like, you should be able to swim down and stuff like that. I don't want like Pokemon in the water to be on top, like, you know what I mean, like surface high up. I would prefer them to be within the water. And with that being said, I'd also like you to be able to dive down in the water. You know what I mean? Like in Breath of the Wild, like if you remove all the water like textures from the map, there's actually like stuff underneath the water that looks like it's like it was just cut from the game due to time restraints. And like, I think Scarlet and Violet has the potential to probably be maybe the best open world game on the Switch for Nintendo, if they just look at the Breath of the Wild team's achievements and try and one up it and make a better version of what their game was. Obviously, in most Pokemon games nowadays, there's always a new gimmick. Sorry, and as we should know, there will definitely be one for this game as well. But like, I don't really know what new gimmick they could come up with. People said how they'll add a third type to the game. I don't think they would, because to be honest, I don't really care about a third type. in the Pokemon games and stuff like that. Like, yeah, a third type would be cool, but like as a gimmick, wouldn't that like kind of break the game? If you just get a Pokemon with like two extremely strong typings that has like a weak has like a weakness that can basically become overcome with like just like an additional third type, like it would just seem broken. Like that Pokemon would have no weaknesses and might just be super effective to basically everything because of the vast move pool it might end up having at the end of the day, plus all the stab effects and stuff. It just seems broken. I don't think that could ever be a gimmick. Like, yeah, it would be cool, but to me, like, personally, what I would prefer is for all gimmicks to return. Like, you know, like Mega Evolution, Z moves, Dynamax, but like have them all changed and tweaked in a way that's actually balanced. Dynamax and Gigantamax were just OP for Sword and Shield. Once you basically went into it, you basically won the game. Your HP was doubled. Every attack you did set up terrain. For people who don't know what terrain does, basically it just powers up certain types of moves and adds on stats conditions to the battlefield. So like, let's say you use like a ground type move or whatever, you'd cause like a sandstorm, and like ground, rock, or steel Pokemon. Those three Pokemon wouldn't take damage, but the other Pokemons would. They would get ticked away each turn, like a set number of damage, and like it was just extremely OP because like Gigantamax and Dynamax could just set up basically and sweep teams because of how powerful they were, and it only lasted for 3 turns, but those 3 turns were enough to basically KO 3 Pokemon back to back, which is basically half of the opposing team to begin with, and you can't even like dodge. So not even dodge, like, yeah, you can't even dodge their attacks. All their attacks are 100% accuracy, and you can't block them with moves that allow you to block and like negate damage in a way, because you'll just take it still. It goes through it. So it was just a guaranteed insta win button. Mega Evolution to me was still like the best one. Like, yeah, Z moves are cool, but they were just like super moves where like Mega Evolutions were cool because you could once you actually like attach that gimmick onto your Pokemon, it wouldn't be able to use like another held item. It would actually like, you would have to actually build your team around that Pokemon, or even do like certain mind games around it as well. And that's why I think that like they should bring all 3 of them back, but only have you be able to use one in a battle. And let's say like you're in like a gym or whatever, you could only choose between those 3. And like, to me, like, it'll be perfect because you only choose 1 out of the 3 to use, just like in Pokemon Journeys anime that's out right now. Like you could only use 1 of the 3 gimmicks. Like, yeah, I do say it now. Like, yeah, I highly doubt that this would be like to be a thing. It would be cool to see, but like, I hate the idea that like when you make a gimmick and you just throw away the next game, like just because it was just a gimmick thingy and you never bring it back. Perfect example is Mega Evolution. Like, it was basically there in like what, three sets of games, and they basically just threw it out after the 3rd one and haven't touched it since. And it's like, it's such a letdown because everyone loves Mega Evolution. It is like the best gimmick, but like, you know, it's just, but you know, it's Game Freak, man. They just don't really want to use the same assets. Oh wait, that was a lie. They usually do. So I don't know why they don't want to use the same gimmicks they made last time and just add on new additional megas the first time as well. I'd like to see a vast amount of Pokemon from other games make their appearance in the game. Like, yeah, we've already seen like Survivor, which I believe is like a Pokemon that hasn't actually returned recently in a Pokemon game. So it's pretty nice to see that. And I would also like to see new and interesting Pokemon, like new regional forms based on like the area. Like, for example, like Tauros and Milk Tank. Like, they would be pretty cool regional forms to have in the game, which would be like really cool and stuff like that. But like, but I'll be honest with you, I'll take new Pokemon over regional forms any day. So I would prefer for there to be new, like a new set of Pokemon from these games. Another wish I'd have is like any area is open and it scales to you. By this, I mean that when you reach level 16, the Pokemon in the open world around the whole entire map scale to you, so they will also be level 16, which to me, I would like prefer this as such, where like in some cases where like, let's say it's a boss fight, there'll be like, I don't know, like 2 to 3 levels, maybe even 5 levels higher than you or whatever, depending on where, like how late in the game it would be. And the scaling would decrease as the more gym badges you got. So instead of it being like, I don't know, the first gym badge, you'd probably be like, what, level 10. So all Pokemon will be scaled to level 10. And then like the last one, the 8th one, most Pokemon will be around level like 50 to 60. So so you would be like around like in your mid 50s, while they'll be at their 60s. It will just slowly decrease as the more badges you get. Maybe like the tutorial of the game is like set in your hometown, and the first gym could be like the end of the tutorial, as in like the first boss to prove your worth and leave the town. And from there is where like the whole entire game scales and becomes open to you. Like how like in Breath of the Wild there's the Great Plateau, which is basically one of the best tutorial levels in the whole entire game, because there's a whole lot to do, and it basically teaches you everything you need to know about the game before you actually head out into the world. But still, it is one of the best tutorial levels, and as I said, Pokemon should look at Breath of the Wild and see what it's done, and let's try to like one up it. As I said, just look at, like, this is Nintendo we're talking about. Pokemon, Mario, and Zelda are basically like the big three of Nintendo. They should always look at each other and ask each other, like as in like a way of like uniting each other, like what ideas should we do, or like how can we do this, or blah blah blah. And like it's a way for like those games to improve and be better than the other ones. I'd also like to see voice acting within the game. Like in Arceus we never got voice acting, but in the trailer we did, and like it made everyone think that there was voice acting in the game, but there actually wasn't. Breath of the Wild has voice acting, which again I think Pokemon should make the leap already to voice acting as well. They should be able to add in voice lines and stuff for characters. Maybe even if it's the most simplest of like grunts or whatever, to to like your Pokemon taking damage or whatever, you're just reacting from it. It would be cool to see, because like as I said, like your main character in every Pokemon game is just an extremely blank state, especially the 3D ones where the facial expressions they make is like rare. Sometimes something bad would happen and they would just have a straight face, and then it would change to the most like overreactive face, where instead I would just prefer for like 2D animated cutscenes in like scenarios where like your customization isn't involved. So let's say like you'd wear a suit or whatever to sneak into a company, and a cutscene will play or whatever, and like it's your character in that suit. You know what I mean? Like I would prefer something like that instead of just like extremely dumb and lackluster like animated cutscenes to like play out throughout the game. Last but not least, a really good post-game content. A perfect example is like the Delta episode in Oras. To me, that's probably like one of the best post games we've ever had. Like maybe we could also have like another Battle Frontier or anything. Like maybe like the game could just be so open that like you could go to any gym, and even after you do 8 gyms, you can still do the other 8 as well. So you're never restricted to how many gym badges you could get. Personally, I would just do that. I would go to each gym if I had the chance to. Like, if you gave me the chance to go to any gym, and I could keep going to them, whatever, I'll do it. I'll willingly go to all 16 before I like continue playing the game. That would be my thing. Just instead of just banging out 8, I'll just go do the other 8 as well. You know, just big flex on them, man. Flex like a champ. With that being said, these are just like some thoughts and like ideas that I had for like my wishes for like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to have. Because as I said before, like BDSP and like Sword and Shield were just like mega letdowns for me. Like they were just like extremely bad games. Like Sword and Shield wasn't the game we wanted, and it wasn't the game we needed. Like Arceus was the game we needed, and like Arceus was kind of the game we wanted. If we had Sword and Shield and swapped its like setting with Arceus, I would prefer it like that. And if Arceus was just like Sword and Shield, so Gen 8 would be like the first open world game, well, sorry, zone to zone Pokemon game, I would prefer that a lot more. But we never got that. And so Scarlet and Violet has potential to be one of the best Pokemon games if they just have a good story, good characters, and just a really good premise altogether. With that being said, please drop a like, subscribe, comment your own opinions in the comment section below, and also share with your friends. You know, if I'm dumb or whatever, like, you know, like, hit the like button, because hitting the like button when I've made a bad statement goes a lot way. You know, it does some stuff for our for our channel. With that being said, goodbye.